So this fantastic exhibit that was curated by Aidan, our curator of decorative arts, goes through the first 30 years of Rose Ironworks, which is an ornamental metalworking shop that is really the longest continuously operating ornamental metalwork design and manufacture organization in the country. And it's a real Cleveland treasure. And the exhibition also coincides with the 100th anniversary of Art Deco. Martin Rose was born in the late 19th century in Hungary. He was born Moor Rosenbleu in a smaller town, and then at age 13, he became an apprentice blacksmith. And so he started to learn the trade. And from 13 to 17, he was learning the trade as an apprentice, and at 17, he became what's called a journeyman. And as a journeyman, he traveled to the larger cities of Vienna and Budapest to work with masters there and to learn more of the trade, but also to learn more about the history of metalworking, the history of decorative techniques. And so he really had this kind of broad education in metalworking and in design. Martin Rose was really the one who brought this level of European sophistication and style to this country. It really didn't exist here before. He had such an impact on the history of the city, on how the city looked, on how the city continues to look. And that organization has continued through Martin's son, Melvin, and then Melvin's son, Bob, who is now the current leader of Rose Ironworks. The relationship between the museum and Rose Ironworks is very long-standing. So the museum and the company have been very close from the beginning of the museum, from the 19-teens. Used with Violin screen, of course, is a star of the CMA collection. It is one of the most iconic pieces to come out of Rose Ironworks. It really is emblematic of this relationship between Martin Rose and the designer Paul Fair, who was also a Hungarian who came over after working for other very prominent ornamental metalworkers in Paris. He was lured here to Cleveland and spent a few years working with Martin Rose. The other piece in the exhibition that's my favorite is the frieze that runs around the top of the wall that depicts the entire history of metalworking from ancient times all the way up until that present day of 1930. So it really ends with figures that evoke those working at Rose Ironworks at that time. This company still exists, and you can walk into it, and it's like a time warp. You walk right into the past when you walk into that space. This is the sign that has hung outside of the shop since 1911. This was made by Martin Rose. So it's really this time capsule of a place that brings you back into this heyday of Cleveland and brings you back into the history of Cleveland's incredible making history. There's just been so many wonderful things made here.